Hi everyone, how are you? How are you doing today? Today class is very important class for your future in math. I'm going to start easy with you. I'm going to tell you what's my class. My class is combined for Algebra and Pre Calculus, then it's going to go to Calculus. You're going to have this all the time from now till the end of your math life. You're going to use this function. The first thing you have to know how to graph it, how to understand it. Now, let us guess what our class today is. Something we call it periodic function. Periodic function. Why periodic function? Because the graph of this function repeat itself every period. All what we need to graph the function in one period, then we keep repeat the same graph with the same exact period. Now, let us see what our class. Our class is what? A graph, trigonometric function. And this is going to be part 1 because we're going to start with part 1. We're going to start with what? Part 1. Let us see what we need to know. Let us see what we need to know for this function. The two functions I'm going to graph today. Sine and cosine. Good? This is the standard form. I'm going to deal with the basic one. Sine first. Then I'm going to go to cosine function. What you need to know to graph this function. There's a constant here called A and a constant called what? B. Constant called A and constant called B. The A gives me the amplitude. What I mean by the amplitude? What I mean by the amplitude. How far the graph of the function goes up and down. The maximum and the minimum for the function. But as amplitude I used here what? I used absolute value of A because I need amplitude is a number, a value, a magnitude. I need the magnitude of the maximum value can the function sine of x reach or cosine of x reach. If it's negative here, you're going to take the absolute value and make it positive. Then the maximum and the minimum the function can reach. The second thing you have to know is the domain. You're lucky guys for this because the domain always for this function from negative infinity to positive infinity. Now, how about the range? The range related to the amplitude. Your range related to the amplitude. As I told you, the amplitude is the maximum and the minimum, A to negative A. This is your range from here to here. Because that from the beginning, if you know what's A, you can determine what's your range. The last thing, the y-intercept. The y-intercept. How we find the y-intercept? By plug x equals 0 in your function. Good. Then we have to know 1, 2, 3, 4 term. After that, we have to find something we call it the period. And I mentioned at the beginning that the graph of the function repeats itself every period of values of x. How I get the period? You have always 2 pi and you divide it by what? The value of b. B from where? From here or there. Now, we have amplitude, we have domain, we have range, we have y-intercept, we have the period. Why I'm asking you to have period over 4? After you find the period from this step, you divide it by what? 4 here. Why I ask you for that? Because this will help me to find the x-intercept. This will help me to find the x-intercept. How many points I need for the x-intercept? I need 5 points. I need 5 points. I need 5 points for the x. These are 5 points. For this case, when I have only y equals sine bx and y equal a cosine bx, either one, you start always from where? From the 0. Then you go, what you do after you find the first one, which is here 0 in my case, you add to this one by period over 4. Then when you find x2, you add to the x2 the same value, the period over 4, the same value. Then you find x4 by adding to the x3 period over 4, then by adding x5. After that, I'm going to show you how I'm going to graph it. Let us take some example. Always the example give me clear the concept. This example, y equal, let me write, now I know this y equal, I'm going to write y equal a sine bx. What's a, guys? 3. What b? 2. Then my amplitude is a. It's positive already. I'm going to write it 3. Then what my period? 2 pi over 2, which is equal to pi, because 2 cancels with 2. Then my function, the graph of my function, repeat itself every pi. You will see in the graph. Domain. I told you lucky. Negative infinity to positive infinity. Domain x values. The domain means x values. What x values you can use? You can use any x value from negative infinity to positive infinity. The range. You remember I told you about the range? The range related to that amplitude. You open bracket, -3 to 3. Like that means my graph will go between -3 and 3. You will see also. Now, what my period is pi. Write it down here. Pi over 4. This is my period pi. The period over 4, that to help me, to help you find the x-intercepts. Okay. Let us see what we can do. Now we need to find what? The y-intercept. The y-intercept. How I find the y-intercept, guys? I told you you'll plug x0 in the function. This is the y-intercept. Okay? You go to the main function, which is 3 sine 2, 3 sine 2, x equals 0. Now 3 sine 0. Look here. I need from you, I'm gonna leave this for 2-3 minutes. I'm gonna explain it, then you're gonna see it. I'm gonna leave a table for you here. This table you need to memorize this table. This is the theta, which is the angle in rad, and then the theta in degree, and then the sine, which is means sine 0 is 0, cosine 0 is 1. Pi over 6 is the same as 30 degree in degree. Pi over 4 is 45. Pi over 3 is 60. Pi over 2 is 90. Pi is 180. 3 pi over 2 is 270. 2 pi 360. Please, guys, memorize these tables. Memorize this table. Sine of 30 or pi over 6 is half. Cosine is square root 3 over 2. Sine pi over 4 and cosine over 4 the same. Look to the 60. Look to the 60. You see 60 here? Look, the angle 60. You like this color? Okay. Somebody like this color. I know who's like this color. Girls like this color, and I like this color. Okay. And looks like 60 and 30. Look, guys. You see this here? And here. And go another color. Half and half. They are opposite, 30 and 60. 90, sine 91, cosine 90, 0. Sine 180, 0. Cosine 180, negative 1. I can minimize it if you want. And the 2 pi has sine 0 and cosine equal 1. That will be. Now sine 0, 0. That my y-intercept is 0. Now my 5 points. In this function, sine or cosine x, in my standard form, the sine x or cosine x, both of them, they start with what? 0. Then 0 plus pi over 4, which is pi over 4. Now here 3 sine 2 times 0, which is 3 times 0, which is 0. Okay. Okay, let us go. I'm giving you some time to think about the second one, pi over 4. Okay, sine pi over 4. Look what I'm going to do. I add to the 0 pi over 4. Let me just finish the table, then come back and do it one. Now what you have to do here, pi over 4, my new guy, plus what? Again, pi over 4. We keep adding the same value. Let me just erase it, make it closer, and make it smaller to fit here. I need more space. Here pi over 4 plus pi over 4. Watch, I have 4 in the denominator and 2 pi, which is cancelled with this is pi over 2. Good? The first point, 0 and 0. The second point, I know pi over, right, 2. I need to find what's y. You plug 3 sine 2 pi over 2, right? Pi over 4 for this guy. Which is, if you see this pair with me here, you see the 2 here, 1, and here 2, sine pi over 2. What's sine pi over 2? Go back to the table. Sine pi over 2 is 1. 3 times 1, 3. 3. Here, 3 sine 2, and I have here pi over 2. Here, pi over 2. 2 cancel with 2. Sine pi, go to the table, is 0. And then here we have 0. And then pi over 2 comes with 0. I have 1, 2, 3. I need 2 more. I have pi over 2. I have to add what? Plus pi over 4. Multiply this by 2 to have the same denominator. 3 pi over 4. 3 sine 2 times 3 pi over 4. Now 2 and 4, you can reduce 2 and 4. 1 and 2. Now sine 3 pi over 2, go to the table. I'm going to give you the table again. Negative 1. 3 times negative 1, negative 3. Then negative, here, pi. Over, we have pi, 3 pi over 4. 3 pi over 4. 3 pi over 4. 3 pi over 4. This value, put it here. And this give me how much? We said negative 3. Just let me fix this one. Negative 3. Negative 3. The last point left, which is we're going to add 3 pi over 4 plus, again, by always I add what? Look, always you add pi over what? 4 plus pi over 4. Now 3 pi plus pi, 4 pi over 4 is only pi. It's only pi. Then pi, and plug the pi here, 3 sine 2 times pi 3, and this guy equals 0. This guy equal what? 0 from sine 2 pi equals 0. Equals 0. Then I have 0. Now I have all what I need. 0 pi over 4 here. We have to fix this to be what? Pi over 4. Pi over 4. Now I have my 5 point, I have the x-intercept, I have the domain, I have the range. I have to graph. Look to the table, okay, 1 minute, and I'm going to show you sine 2 pi equals 0. This is 2 pi, sine 2 pi equals 0. You see, theta and sine 2 pi equal what? 0. A little bit larger, okay. You see, sine 2 pi equals 0. Sine 3 pi over 2 equal negative 1. Okay. We need these points, 0, 0, pi over 4, and we have 0, pi over 4. Let me just graph this point. And I know my domain, my range from 3 to negative 3. Then, what I'm going to do, I'm going to graph this function here, here, one, two, three. Then I'm going from this guy here, my graph, to this guy here. I have to be between these two lines. I'm going to make it darker and different color. Okay, this blue and a little bigger blue, a little bigger, and 0, and this pi over 4, and this is pi over 2, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, pi over 2, 3, pi over 4, and pi, the last value here. My function, I'm going to start from here. We said, if you remember, 0 and 0, then at pi over 4 goes jump to the 3, Then at pi over 2 goes to the 0, and here goes to the -1, and here goes to the 0 again. You graph it. This is my function. Now, what I mean by periodic function, look guys, if you want, you can stop here, but this function keep going, okay, here, and extend this guy here a little bit, and you can I'm going to use different color to graph it. You can go up, you see that? The same function, look, repeat, and you can keep going. The same thing the other way around. You can go here, and go up, and go up, and go up, same thing. This periodic function, you see green, blue, green, the same thing goes forever. Okay, let us leave this guy here and move it a little bit up here or down. Okay, leave it for you here. It's nice, right guy? And let us go to the second example. And this table, I need you to memorize it. I need you to memorize this table. Please take a picture or keep every time you want to remember, just go to this video and remember this table. Let us take another example. Graph y equal -2. Okay, what do we have to do? What we have to do? Look, we have to find A and B. What's A? Let me use, and I like green, I don't know, I like green color all the time. A is -2 and B is 1/2. I don't know. Now, but when I find the amplitude, I have to take absolute value of -2, which is 2. Which is mean, my function, a graph, goes between 2 and what? Negative to the graph in this area. That's my amplitude. My period, let me just what? Period here. It goes from 2 pi, this they're very light. Let me change this color. Let me change this color to blue. 2 pi over b, which is 1/2. Keep, change, flip. 2 pi times 2 over 1. 2 over 1, which is what? Wow, big period. 4 pi. For what? My domain, oh my God, domain -infinity to +infinity. You don't have to worry about the domain for sine and cosine. The range, negative, you see that? Guy here, from -2, depend on A, my range. The y-intercept, -2, now my period here, over 4, I need this all the time. 4 pi over 4, right? Then pi over 1, which is pi. Okay, get it guys? Then you plug x equals 0, -2. You see, -2. Now cosine 0, this is what I want. Cosine what? 0. Cosine 0 from the table, if you go to the table, is 1. -2 times 1, then my 0 and -2. This is my y-intercept. Okay, the same as we did. Now we have the amplitude, which is 2. Remember to take the absolute value. The period, which is 2 pi over 1/2, which is 2 pi over 1, 2 pi over 1 here, and the domain, and the range, and the y-intercept, and this to simplify it. You have to memorize the table. Please guys, memorize the table. That will help you a lot. Now, x 0, and we know that we have to add all the time pi, right? The first one, pi, plus pi. We're lucky because we have a whole number. Then the first value is pi. Okay, I know that blue here. Pi cosine. Then here, you remember this p over 4. Just I need to highlight it to. Remember this, which is we end up with pi. We end up with what? With pi, you have to add pi all the time to each value. Okay. And the pi here, plus, I'm using different color to make it clear for you. And again, 2 pi, this value I need, and 2 pi plus pi which is 3 pi. Remember, my period is 4 pi. 4 pi. I have to end up with 4 pi from 0. The difference between the first value, and the last value has to be what? The period. The difference. I want to show you what I mean. This 5. x5, 3 pi plus pi is 4 pi. Look, this is 0, this 4 pi. The difference between them, if you go back, is 4 pi, which is the period. Let me just back that example, just quickly to show you what I mean by this. Look here. This 0 and this is pi. The difference between 0 to the pi is pi, which is my period, right? My period is pi. You see the period is pi here, right? And we got pi here. Okay, let us finish this problem. Now we have to plug all these values in my function. -2 cosine, -2 cosine, -2 cosine, -2 cosine, half, -2 cosine, half, -2 cosine, half, -2 cosine, half, -2 cosine, half. Half what here? Oh, that's easier. That's a lot easier. Here 0, here pi, here 2 pi, here 3 pi, and here 4 pi. Look, cosine 0, guys, half times 0 is 1, equal negative 2. Then we talk about now y. And we need ordered pair. We call these solutions. We call it also solution. This is negative 2. And half pi is pi over 2. Cosine pi over 2, half pi is 0. That gives you all 0. If you cancel 2 with 2, you have cosine pi. Go to the table up, negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 2 is 2. 3 pi over 2. 3 pi times 1, 3 pi over 2. Cosine 3 pi over 2 is negative 1. Cosine 3 pi, cosine 3 pi over 2 is 0. This guy equal what? 0, equal 0. And this guy, negative 2. Negative cosine pi is negative 2 times negative 1, which is equal to the 2. And this guy is 0. This guy, if you cancel, it's going to be cosine 2 pi. Cosine 2 pi is 1. This guy is 1, and this guy, negative 2, is give you negative 2. Okay, let us write down the values of x. The x values 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, and 4 pi. Let us graph it again. Okay. 0 and negative 2 pi and 0. Look to the table. Look to the table. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm gonna give name for this guy here. After that, okay, graph. Let me take, okay, good enough. And one more here. And I know my guys, let me just copy this. And take it to the negative 2. Just give it red. Or copy. And take this guy to the 2. Then my graph will be between these two. Right? And I have 0, pi, okay, what you have to do next, we're gonna write our 5 points, 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, and 4 pi. My function start at 0 at negative 2. My function start at negative 2. At negative 2. At 0. Let me just choose a different color. Okay, maybe I can choose this guy here. And this guy then goes at pi 0 and here and here and here. The function will go like this. Look, go down, and then the cosine. And if you want to keep going, look here. If you want to see how the function going, I can, from left and right, I can extend it. This how the function look like, the cosine. Okay. Use different color. Okay. Red from here to here. Look. Let me fix it. Okay. It should be comes from here. Should come across the zero and should, okay, let me fix it a little bit. Okay. 0, red, 0, all the way here, and all the way here, and here. Okay? This is negative pi, this negative 2 pi, this is negative 3 pi, and this is negative 4 pi. The same thing from here to here. Okay, look like I'm there with the right stuff. This is 5 pi, 6 pi, 7 pi, and 8 pi. And this is negative 2 cosine, negative 2, negative 2 cosine half x. And you see the period from here to here is 4 pi. And from here to here is 4 pi. And from here to here is 4 pi. This is sine. This is 3. And this is negative 2 and negative 2. Let me just change this color. This is 2. And this is negative 2. And this is 3. And this is negative 3. 3, this guy 3, sine 2x. And see that here the period here from here to here is pi, my period, and from here to here is pi. The same thing, pi. Okay. Okay, try to see this function. Now I'm going to leave it for a moment. You see it, guys? Okay, look, 1, 2, 3. Let me just move from this page and back to my page. Now, look what I need you to do now. I'm going to leave this for 2 minutes. Try by yourself. If you have any question, you are more than welcome to contact me and send you the answers. Just subscribe the video and subscribe all our videos. We have a lot of stuff. I built that. It's another problem. Negative 2 sine half x. A, b, the same thing. You have to do it by yourself. Look at the problem. nice, build up nice. I made everything for you. After you finish and fill all the table, you will graph it. Also try to do a B, C, D, 3 function. Next time, I will add something we call it phase shift. I'm gonna add it maybe Thursday or this Friday, April 16 or 17. All what I can say at the end, have a nice day, nice evening, enjoy. Any comments, more than welcome. Anything you need from me, just post. Anything you need from me, just post it. What we did today, trigonometric function, basic trigonometric function, and this is good for algebra and pre-calculus. Enjoy and have